Welcome to the Locker, Season 4, Episode 43. It's your man V Styles. We are in the house solo tonight. I apologize for the technical difficulties. But you got two old ass former players. And technology don't do us right. So sometimes we got to figure it out. Sometimes we don't have an IT staff that can get us straight, and so that's the outcome sometimes. But we are here, and I know it's gonna probably take some time for you all to come and join, but I hope we can get there. I hope. Um, Man, there's been some things going on. Has there not been some things going on? Has it not been some things going on? Again, I don't know if I said this because I'm rambling now, but I'm on this baby solo. My man Ant's taking care of some business, so your boy's here solo tonight. Try to give you an hour if we can. There's a lot to talk about. I'm gonna start off with this because this is something that's been bothering me since it has come out. And this whole college playoffs thing. It's interesting to me that people are up in arms about this college playoffs thing. My question is, what if Kentucky was number 5 and we lost a game to Georgia? And but Georgia loses Stetson Bennett, for example. And we lost to Georgia by 3 points. But now Georgia doesn't have their star quarterback. And they go to SEC championship game and barely beats Bama by 3 points. Wouldn't you feel some type of way if Georgia goes and you don't? When they just lost the player on their team that can be a difference maker. Who's the better team? Is Georgia the same team that you played earlier? No, they're a different team. Florida State is not even close. I know that's a bad example because SEC is different. But what's up, JD? Hey, JD, I'm gonna give you some Brock Vandagriff stuff in a minute. It bothers me because people talk about this participation trophy a lot. And it's interesting to me because participation trophy is something that I got when I was a little kid. We got a trophy. When I played with the Breck League, with the local league, everybody got a trophy. It was just a participation trophy. It's a little old trophy. Not everybody got a championship trophy now. Everybody got a little trophy. But a lot of people argue about the participation trophy, right? Isn't that kind of the same thing? Y'all want to just give it to Florida State. Did Florida State earn it? Sure. But are they better than Alabama, Texas at this point? Probably not. I don't think they're one of the 4 best teams. People been clamoring for, let's get the 4 best teams in the playoffs for forever. And now when you can get a chance to get the 4 best teams in well, how do we know that Florida State defense can't? Think about it. Who would Michigan rather play, Florida State or Alabama? I think it was shown in the highlight when they saw Bama number 4. I think they would rather play Florida State for a reason because they don't have their quarterback. I don't think it's even close. Don't even think it's close that the committee didn't make the right choice. Cobby Cobb said, see, now I'm at the control center and I'm not used to this. Cobby said, that's why the Locker X account is protected, so can't retweet your post for tonight's show. Ooh. Cobby, We're gonna have to fix that. We'll figure that out. JD, yeah, JD, Johnny Gill. JD said Johnny McGill. Come on, JD. Come on, JD. You know Johnny Gill went solo, brother. I don't know, y'all. That's above my pay grade. But is anybody else? Does anybody think that the right choice wasn't made for the college playoff? Do you think that Florida State should have gotten in because they won a conference? They won conference, and in the history, I think the conference champion usually makes it. But in this year is what the first time that it didn't happen. Oh, and we got confirmation from HR. Now the account is private. Hey, HR don't fucking pay me. So how the heck? Hey, HR say it's private. HR say it's private, y'all. I guess that's what HR wants. That's what we get. Shit. When HR starts signing checks, then I get on y'all side and say, HR, hey man, we gotta come off this private shit because we gotta share this, man. But HR says nope, that's it. JD says those were the right four in the right order. Although I think Bama may very well look, JD. Why are people not talking about Texas making it though? Why are people not talking about Texas making it? Texas lost to a bad Oklahoma team. That was a worse loss than Bama losing to Texas. So why are not anyone talking about Texas making that jump? Texas made a jump too. At least Alabama beat the number one team, according to everybody in the world, on a neutral site. So why isn't anyone clamoring about Texas not being in? I mean, getting in there over Florida State. I think maybe Texas should have been an odd man out. Because if we want to go, there's a Power 5 conference. So one team is going to be left out of the Final Four. You got 5 of them, right? So of all the 5 championships, who had the toughest opponent? Probably Washington playing Oregon, maybe? Nope, I don't say that. It's Georgia playing Bama. Georgia playing Bama was number 1. Number 2 was Washington, Oregon. Number 3 was probably, I'll go Michigan, Iowa, which says a lot. If the Michigan against Iowa was the number 3, number 4 would be Florida State against Louisville, which is another weird one because we just went to Louisville's home and took their girlfriend. And the last would be Texas against Oklahoma State. So of all those 5, which champion would you leave out? If you just basing it solely on, we got to have the conference champions in the Final Four, one team is out anyway. One would have been out anyway. So why isn't Texas out? Because Texas road was, to me, a little easier than everybody else. If Texas played Alabama in week 10, I'm not sure Texas win that game. JD said he sent out a tweet for the show. If some of y'all want to retweet that, appreciate you, JD. JD, I appreciate you, brother. So yeah, if y'all want to retweet JD's post, go have at it. So it's interesting that no one is talking about the Georgia drop. Is that not interesting? Georgia went from number 1 to number 6, and they lost to a team that's in the Final Four. Think about that. On a neutral site, Georgia lost to a team that's now in the Final Four, and they drop out. So if you think about it, that means Georgia carries a lot of weight. For Bama to jump teams to get to the 4, that means Georgia's weight is heavier than anybody else. So why would they? Not only they drop behind Florida State. Or the one-loss teams. Who is the best one-loss team? I don't think Texas is one of the best one-loss teams. But everybody's clamoring and upset that the SEC got it. That's haterade. If Florida State, if Georgia won, let's say Georgia won, you can't even do it because if Washington loses to Oregon was close enough to get. I can't get a good example. What if a team lost and it wasn't Bama, and Bama stayed, but another team jumped Florida State? Would everybody be up in arms? Probably not. They're only up in arms because the SEC wins every freaking national championship. And now the conference has another chance of continuing on the dynasty and the legacy of the SEC being the best conference. Because the crazy thing that I hear is that they try to match the conference against other teams from other conferences. But they don't say whom did the team lose to. I think JD said, I think the decisive win of Big 12 and beating Bama early locked them in. I'm not convinced they're better than UGA, but it just kind of plays. I agree with you, JD. I think that's it. But again, that bothers me when you say that, JD, because it matters when you lose then. Georgia only had one loss, and they lost the last game of the season, which is an extra game. And now they are docked more points than Alabama and Oklahoma, who lost early in the season. Make sense. Just because I lose a game at the end, that drops me out of consideration. When two other teams that are in the Final Four lost, just happen to be week 2 and week 5, and now they're able to regarner some of that cachet to get back into the Final Four. That makes no sense. When I've made it through the whole season undefeated, and I'm playing an extra championship game, which is a money game, and that money game knocks me out. Carter Private out there don't understand the logic and says content belongs there. Yeah, you're right, content. JD said that's true. Fans, I see the least amount of complaints from their fans. They seem to get it. Was just the way the cookie crumbled. Right, JD. That isn't that weird how Georgia fans are not up in arms, which I would be up in arms because honestly, I think someone else said that the 4. I would say this. Before I say that, Florida State would be in the Final Four if they had Jordan Travis on the team. It is no doubt. It is clear that team to me was one of the best 4 teams. It's clear. But it's like many times before, like when Kenyon Martin got here for UC, that's dropped their tournament bid. So totally, man, Florida State defense is probably one of the best in the country. And no doubt with Jordan Travis, it's just a different team. They are a different team. And I don't see how people can't see that. Just because you win the conference championship does not automatically make sure just a lockdown Final Four. It just doesn't. Somebody's going to be left out. And unfortunately, you're the one left out. That's just how the world works. It's not fair. You did everything you were supposed to. That's not fair. It's the same thing. Cobby said what's funny, crying that they are being punished by having to face Georgia if they think. Look, I am old. And I remember some teams. I remember that Auburn team with Cadillac and can't think of the other guy running back, played with the Dolphins, and then the quarterback They went undefeated and didn't get a chance to play for a national championship. There have been many teams that have been undefeated and ranked high. I think that was the number. There was a number. Was it a Penn State team during my time? Was that Kajana Carter year where the Big Ten champion always played in the Rose Bowl? So they had to play the Rose Bowl, and somebody played Miami, and they won a national championship. Like, come on, y'all. This is ridiculous. UK basketball won 22 games. Right. Exactly. Nerlens busted his knee at Florida, different team, no NCAA bid. Exactly. It's just it is purely solely an SEC thing. And that is unadulterated haterade. If anybody else, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But I don't know, man. I don't have a problem with it. Oh shit! What's up, man?
I'll buy a vowel.
That was a mistake.
Uh-oh. Oh. Hey, that's what y'all get when you got live broadcast, brother. That's what y'all get. But I'm gonna get off of that because that ain't got nothing to do with Kentucky. Although I would say this. No, I guess we wouldn't. How close do you think we are to getting to a playoff situation? This is going to 12 this year. Well, not next season. How close are we to getting to a playoff? Are we one season away? Do you think that Brock Vandagriff can get us to the playoffs? Do you think that the defense can get us to a playoff? Because I'm going to say this. So there's no Pac-12. So that takes us to 4 conferences. Do you think we get 2 per conference? That gets us to 8. Do you think you get 2 group of 5s? So then that gets us to 10. Then there's 2 potential spots open. So you get 2 per conference, then 2 spots. Now I know like Oregon are going to UCLA, or what was it? USC and UCLA, whatever's going to the Big 10 and then Big 12. Got a couple more teams. I know that's going to hurt. It's going to be hard to get 2. But do you think the SEC is going to be guaranteed 3? Do you think the SEC will be guaranteed 3 spots? Because in 2021, we were probably number 3. In 2018, we were probably number 3. Do you think we are closer with the expansion to getting to a playoff spot now with 12 teams? Or do you think we're in the same spot we were when they only allowed 4? JD said, I think Mizzou showed they're real close, but to get there, they have to solve the Tennessee problem. Yep. And now get back on top of Mizzou. I'm going to say this. I'm going to have to see Mizzou do it consistently because I'm going to pull up Mizzou because I know I've gone over this. There are teams that can have a great season, and that's commendable. But the issue is, can you consistently do it? JD said, gotta be UT and gotta quit blowing that one game every year. Well, JD, it depends. What if that one game, I know what you mean, but what if we can tie in that blowing game, like that game that scratched your head, to be Georgia or to be Texas? You know, what if that game is against a team that people won't lose respect for us because they know they in their head think we're gonna lose anyway? Cobby Cobb says the expansion was this year. The SEC will have 4 teams. I don't agree with that, Cobby. I haven't thought about it, but off the top of my head, I don't think that's accurate. So, all right, let's go by it. Let's see where it goes. Let's go Pac-12. Pac-12 really deserve 2 teams. They really deserve 2 teams. So it'll be Washington, Oregon. The Big Ten, I'm gonna go with 2. I'm gonna go with Michigan, Ohio State. But that Penn State is 4.5, but I'm gonna go 4. Then the Big 12 is only Texas. That's 6. So then if I got 6 in Big 12, I only get 6. I'm gonna go Penn State. I mean, that was 5. I'm gonna go Penn State. So we're gonna go 6 now. And the SEC should get, let's go Bama, Georgia. That's 8. Bobby, you might be right. You might be right. Because the ACC only have 1. Damn. I mean, you have to get a group of 5. So what's the group of 5 going to be? Tulane, since SMU beat Tulane, you got to put SMU in Liberty. So that's 10. Yeah, you might be right. It'll be close, Cobby. You're right. You're right. You're right. Cobby, you're right. Well, JD, yep. They were. So I don't think those, I guess the final rankings will work. I think you're right. But I don't think that's going to be it. Well, shit, the Pac-12, I mean, the ACC is not going to get any better. So they might have 1 team qualify. They might get 2 if Clemson gets back up. But it might be 1. You might be right, Cobby. I don't know if people are going to be happy with getting 4 SEC teams in the Final 12. I think there would be some behind closed doors in that committee meeting where can you imagine the 4th one being Kentucky? Can you imagine number 4 being Kentucky? Let's just say is Georgia, Alabama, LSU, and Kentucky. I'm not sure they're letting us in. I'm just being honest. I'm not sure they will let us in. We will have to, like for a year like that. Right. Picture this though. Can you imagine? What's our schedule this year? Let me pull up our schedule. I know we played Bama. I know we played Texas. I mean, we played Georgia and played Texas. If we lose those 2 games, right? So we beat everyone else on this schedule, but we lose those 2 games. I don't think we're in. Because I don't think that they're going to respect. They're going to respect us enough to get us in. I just don't. They're going to say, as they always say, it's not that we are good, it's that everybody else is bad. So I don't see them letting us in. I just don't see it. So let's say we played. So if we lose to, well, no, I take that back. If next year's schedule plays out and we lose to Georgia and we lose to, which now this is like, this first I saw this, Georgia is going to be week 3 opponent, which might be a good thing, y'all. If we play Georgia on week 3, that might be a good thing. Because it could be a good thing. So if we lose to Georgia and Texas, okay, I'm gonna take all that back. We can get in because we gotta play at Florida, which Florida still has a brand. No matter if we beat them 20 times in a row, they still got a brand. If we went at Florida, at Ole Miss, and at Tennessee, we go 10-2. We deserve to be in. I'm gonna take that back. I don't think we have to start blowing teams out. I really don't. Now, all conference does matter, but I don't think we need to start blowing teams out. But I take that back what I just said. We have enough on the schedule with the wins because there'll be road wins in Gainesville, in the Grove, and in Knoxville. If we win three of those games, all three of those games, and give Texas a battle and go 10-2, even if we the fourth team, I think that resume puts us in. I do. I was wrong. And the thing about it is, we beat Tennessee in 2020. We should have beat Ole Miss last year in the Grove. And we're beating Florida in the Swamp. So that's not like when I played with those when those things didn't fucking happen. You know? Those things that happen in recent history. So it's not that we can't get those games. But we're going to have to tighten up a lot to have that happen. It's not even close. We're going to have to tighten up a lot. All right, man. I'm on the Twitter page. I don't call it that other thing, y'all. I don't call it other. I still call it Twitter. Larry Case had a question about the last two teams making it in the 12-team playoff will be Notre Dame because they are independent. Is that in the bylaws? I don't know, y'all. Someone has to tell me. Is that in the bylaws? Is the bylaws require the independent? Because Notre Dame is really not an independent. I know some people will say that. Notre Dame is not an independent because they're associated with ACC. But I would think they would force a group of 5 team to have to be in there. And if that's the case, I don't think Notre Dame has a way in. I really don't. So I would say no. I would say I don't see an option for Notre Dame getting in this thing unless they have a great season. Because the problem is they're in a bad conference. They're in a bad conference. I don't see them getting that boost like they have. And plus, some of these old teams, the teams that they used to play, are kind of falling off. I just don't see it. Right, Cobb. I don't see that, Cobb. I don't see it. So, I was wrong, y'all. I think that we could, if we make imagine this, y'all. There's a lot of there's a lot of things that I know some fans are starting to get entitled now, and not in a bad way. I'm gonna use the entitlement as a good thing. They're getting a little entitled now because of kind of the success we have had. Right? But if we get to the playoffs, if we get to the playoffs next year, how much would that help in recruiting? If we in little old Kentucky got to the playoffs with the way we are recruiting now, I want people to understand this. I'm going to confirm this, but I think Brock Vandagriff was the number 2 quarterback in the class of 21. I think he was the number 2 quarterback in the class of 21. I'm looking it up now. And for him to come to Kentucky, y'all, who would have ever thought a 5-star guy, a 5-star quarterback on top of that, would come to Kentucky? He was number 2 in his position by rivals. Number 2 quarterback in the country, 5-star, not a borderline, not on the a solid 5-star quarterback to go to Georgia and then decide to come here in the portal. Think about that. HR don't know what the hell they talking about. They said number 3. I'm looking at Rivals right now. He's number 2 in his position. Now I don't know what. Let me check another site. Let me check 24/7. Let's say 24/7 had him. 24/7 had him number 5 quarterback composite. So I don't know. I don't know what to go with it. Number 2 in Georgia, number 4 composite. So whatever. He's top 5 quarterback in the country. Rivals had him as number 2. So top 5 quarterback coming to Kentucky, y'all. Crazy. And he's here. And here's the crazy part about it. Cutter Boley is the backup, Cobby. Let me tell y'all something. So I'm gonna pause that. I'm gonna speak on this. Cobby, Cutter Boley is the backup. Cobby, I want you to imagine this. I'm gonna leave this up here. I want you to imagine this. In this situation. So right now, we got Brock Vandagriff. Next year, Cutter Boley will be in Las Vegas. The next year, Stone Saunders will be in Las Vegas. All right. Let's say your son, Cobby, plays for Incarnate Word. Let's say that. And he wants to leave. He had a great year. He passed for 3,800 yards, 35 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He's elite. He's the number 7 quarterback in the portal. He's number 7. Brock came here before he did. He commits. And you got these 2 young guys coming. Would you come to be a backup? Would you advise your kid? They got a guy from Georgia, you from Incarnate, so this a next tier lower down school. Although you had a great year, and you got a freshman coming whom is an in-state freshman of that. What would you do? Grab a transfer that knows he is an NFL caliber. That seems like it's hard and easy to do. That seems like you just go by and go to the supermarket and buy that 2% milk. Like it's just there all the time. That's not easy, Cobby. To go just grab a transfer, you're in the portal for a reason. There's 2 reasons you're in the portal. Either you want to go to a better spot, like a next step up, because I've proven myself on the lower division, or I'm in a spot behind a stud and I can't get out of it. That's 2. The third one is because you've been asked to leave. And if you've been asked to leave, we don't probably want you. Now, them other 2 options are guys who want to play. They don't want to come here and be a backup. There are not that many Sawyer Smiths in this world. So, and on top of that, I'm going to say this. Once you lose your starter, you just saw Florida State, you're going to get a drop, man. You're going to get a drop. Especially now in the portal, unless you're lucky enough to just stash people, but eventually those people are going to leave anyway. They want PTO for money. Well, if you're a backup copy, you ain't getting no cheddar. You ain't wake up feeling the cheesiest, Cobby Cobb. If you're looking for money in a backup, you didn't wake up feeling the cheesiest. You ain't getting that cheddar. Next to possibly get a second guy. Yes. The only way you can get a backup is Cutter Boley. The only way to get a backup is to find a high school senior whom is good maybe just an athlete, maybe a quarterback that you really see as being a receiver. So then you can promise him you're getting a shot. But hey, you know, I need you a receiver too. If it don't, next step is receiver. Now, if you can find you one of them, where then when the starter gets hurt, where he can run the Lynn Bowden's offense, that can work. But getting a viable backup that from the portal, I don't see that ever happen. It would have to be a guy from lower rank who wants to, yeah. But even that guy, with what we have coming in, is in a tough pickle because Brock has 2 years. Now, let's just say Brock had 1 and you had 2 left. Maybe you can be the guy after Brock to bridge to Cutter. But with Brock having 2 years, Brock is the bridge. So I wouldn't want to come into that situation at Kentucky. Now, maybe if this is who's the best offense now, coach? I don't know. Like back in the day when Clemson had Trevor and Deshaun and those things, USC, maybe Oklahoma with Lincoln Riley back. Maybe you will go there because you know the offense, but not at Kentucky. No, you wouldn't do that. You just wouldn't. I don't see how I can advise my son or anybody whom I'm counseling to say, dude, go put yourself in that ringer. Because the thing about it is you don't have to go to Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Texas to be seen as a quarterback. You can go, as long as you playing good ball, it doesn't matter where you at. If I'm, for example, like if I'm Bo Allen, I know I'm just putting on a name that popped in my head. If I'm Bo Allen and I had a great year at Georgia State, right? And I want to go and be a starter on a bigger platform. Why not go to SMU? Why not go to Tulane? Why not go to Liberty? Like there are other options where you can be the dude, but be a starter. Just imagine you went to Maryland or Rutgers. Let's just say this. Let's say you went to Rutgers, who hasn't had a good season in a long time. And you went there and you had a great season. That team won 8 games. I think that puts you on a higher pedestal than you going to Alabama. Is Alabama losing that? No. Does Jalen have another year? Let's say you go to a place where LSU, Jaden Daniels leaving. You go to LSU where Jaden just put them up. If you keep them there, it doesn't really raise your stock. But if you go somewhere at a good school, Power 5 school, and ball out, that brings your stock up even more. So, I don't know. Side note, UK versus, wow. Is that right? So rugby is obviously a club level sport. I appreciate that little tidbit there, Tommy. But let's get into this recruiting. The recruiting part in the portal bothers me a little bit. And here's why it bothers me, y'all. Is because people say, I know some of y'all might say, but people say, when are we going to ever develop a quarterback? Right? When are we going to ever develop a quarterback? But when these guys when they show up in the portal, oh, we need him. Oh, we need that guy. So if it's kind of weird. You can't have both. You want to develop a quarterback, but you want to go but when a poor guy shows, oh, we got to have him. Like, I would say this. We are going to be real fortunate. He had to sit out Chuck because of injury or because of the transfer? Because I guess that was his second transfer, huh? Lake Dog said them ways. Yeah, man. I would say this. I'm gonna put a point because I do want to say it because of the transfer. Chuck said because it's Jazz said. That's what I thought. Second transfer. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm gonna stick a pin in the quarterback situation at Kentucky. I'm gonna just say someone might need to remind me. We're in a good situation now, but I still have a problem with we want to develop, but then we always want to go back in the portal. So I'm gonna put a pin in that. The Wade thing bothers me, y'all, so much. And the thing about it, I don't know. I could be totally wrong. I don't have players that are on the team that I can talk to. But from the outside looking in, because I've seen Destin on the sideline be a good teammate. I've seen Keaton in games play hard and be a good teammate. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. Now that I'm only in a vacuum with my assessment of the two kids. I've seen Destin last year being interviewed before the bowl game. I've seen Keaton interviewed with the UK, whatever they put on Twitter, the Kentucky football they put on Twitter and all that stuff. I've seen JD's posts on YouTube interviewing, and they both of them seem like great kids. Seem like kids that you will want to be around. Seem like kids that won't stab you in the back. And for them to seem to be so grounded and aware, because I never forget Keaton saying that, the coach is trying to push him to get out of his shell to, I don't know, I can't remember the word, but to be a little more, I don't want to say strain, but be a little bit more intense, so to speak, and not think so much. For him to be self-aware of that says a lot to me that he understands. And to have his dad come out and say the shit that he said, it's mind-boggling. It's on another level. Because where do these kids, either they're great actors or they are the opposite of their parents. And I don't care if the parents are overbearing. For those kids to be so grounded and to have their parents say this is ridiculous. Why not say, hey, even if you feel a certain way, why is it so hard to say, you know what, y'all? Whoever interviewed him, you know what? I appreciate Kentucky for giving both of my kids a chance. For them to be able to go to the same institution and kind of take part of their dream. We really appreciate that. And it just didn't work out. You can even say we didn't see eye to eye. And unfortunately, I thought we would, but we agreed to part because it just didn't work out for the best of us. Why would you start pointing fingers? Because here is the thing for me. And I don't think either one is that can't miss dude like Jadeveon Clowney or Caleb Williams or Trevor Lawrence. I don't think either one of them is those kids, which a lot of people are not. That's not a dig. So how many coaches right now would say, I want that potentially in my stands and in my locker room? I think you could have potentially hurt your kids' chances of getting where they think or where you think they could go by saying that. You can't take that back because now it's written in law. So you just put a target on your kid's back, and you might have put in a scarlet letter on their resume because of what you said. You blaming the coaches. Now, you could have done that in private. You could have been like, I'm just throwing out. If Hypo comes to you like, Hypo, you know what, man? Them assholes over at Kentucky promised us some bullshit. And man, that's why we coming back. You can say that shit in private. You can't say it in public where everybody sees it. That's just a bad thing. Let me get to I saw things scrolling. I was in my little moment. Where we gonna go? He back at okay. The ways of JD, that's what it seems like, man. Well, you would know because you interview him, so that's good. Copy said helicopter parents. Carter Hall, do you really think that's a good one? Do you really think that they would go down? I understand John Summerall is there, but you think that they will humble themselves and go down to Troy after what their dad said? If their dad didn't have that quote or those quotes, then I might be with you. I don't know if they going that route. Jobby said I don't want Summerall to deal with those parents. I hear you. Truck said I have heard the prices kids are asking as they enter the portal, not UK specific. Have heard the prices kids are asking as they enter. Shit, Truck, you just said a guy from Florida State just said they can't pay me. I'm going elsewhere. Oh, that happened. I'm not shocked. Troy needs a quarterback, and John will give him a fair shot. Okay. But Carter, I don't think they're looking for a fair shot, Carter. I don't think they are looking for a fair shot. I don't think they're looking for a chance where their kid can be a backup again. I think they think their kid, as he said, I'm paraphrasing, that Devin Leary, what he did last year ain't no better than what their kid can do. So I can't fucking tell you. They are not looking for a fair shot. They looking for D shot. They just had Devin Leary come off the street and be penciled as a starter. They know Will Levis came off the street, was penciled in as a starter. They want their kid to be penciled in as a starter. Now, can he lose the job? Sure. I think they would be okay if you were the starter and you crap down your leg. Oh, well, I guess, yeah, time to get the other guy in. But they're not looking for a fair shot. One thing that bothers me, JD says, one thing that bothers me, if you're going to quote someone accusing lies, you got to, yeah, JD. But I don't know who the guy is. I'm not in the media and know all is that guy up and coming guy or he's an older guy? Because either way, if he's older, he's probably not getting the clicks. So he wants to get the clicks. He ain't going to ask that question. And if you're a young guy, it's the same thing. So maybe that's it. I don't know. Ellis Kane says mom was apparently on Twitter advocating for a destined to play quarterback at Tennessee during the season. So clear the parents are proud. If Desmond wants to play quarterback, he has to go down. He has to go. I don't think people understand the levels. It's hard for you going from high school. And from what I saw, he was more of a running quarterback in high school. So he would have to go to kind of like a UCF, go with Gus Malzahn, who likes to run a quarterback. Copy said they're looking for a guarantee for sure. Choosing Wade as a quarterback in the bowl game with a shot. Exactly, Carter. I would say that he got his shot late. I'm so glad Coach Duke. And apparently, from what I have read, he's not the lowest paid assistant anymore. And that to me is the biggest because he's not the lowest and he shouldn't be the lowest when his position room is one of the best. And since Anthony's not here, like Anthony and I have said I don't know if we said it here. We might have said it on the show. Anwar has had a damn NFL player every year he's been coached at Kentucky. I want y'all to think about that. He has had an NFL player come out of his room every fucking year. Even when he was a GA, he's had an NFL player every fucking year. And you know what? He's gonna have more. He's gonna have more. He's gonna, you know, the obvious one, so I'm not gonna state the obvious. Ox has a chance. Silver has a chance. Ripka has a chance. And Saunders has a chance. So I just named, 4 or 5 guys. Not Deion Walker, which is the definite. He's got 4 or 5 of those guys. I guarantee you 2 of them make a team. And for all the stuff that is said, Deion was a raw talent. Deion has become more technically sound now. And that's through coaching. So, Stu, who brought that up? I forgot. I appreciate that, Stephen C. You're right. He finally getting his money. I through the grapevine, I didn't read it, but because obviously it's public, so I don't think it's true. It's not true. I heard he got over $200,000 raise. So, and I know he was making 3 something. That's public. So he almost doubled his salary, and that's warranted. And I'm gonna say this, and I don't know this for sure, but I know, I have a feeling that, and this is for all the coaches, I don't appreciate how all the props are getting to one coach. I'm gonna say this. I know that coach closed his deals, obviously. But people have to understand, as a kid who's coming into a university, all right, as a prospective high school athlete, if I can't get along with the guy who I'm going to spend all of my career with, which is your position coach, I want people to understand this. You spend more time with your position coach than anyone else. So I have to have a good relationship with the guy who's coaching me. Fuck Coach White, fuck Coach Stoops, and definitely fuck Coach Morrow. Not in the bad way, but just our connection isn't with the guy that's teaching me every day. If I don't have that bond and relationship with him, if I don't create, I don't want to say, if I don't create a relationship where I can trust you, I'm outie. Deuces. It ain't got nothing to do with the head coach. Ain't got nothing to do with the coordinator. It ain't got nothing to do with the recruiting coordinator. They come to me all fucking crying and bawling. Oh, man, we really need you. Oh, what can we do? Fire the damn position coach because I don't get along with him. So what I'm saying is that for all this shit, it takes my dialogue, especially on my visit. I gotta feel comfortable. My parents, first of all, gotta feel comfortable with you. And I gotta feel comfortable with, I want to be with your ass for 5 years potentially. And if I get a bad vibe as a player, I'm outie. I'm telling you, I've been there. I've been in a room, in a spot that I'm like, this might be the place for me. They just had a guy go first round in the draft. This might be the place for me. But then when I get in a position, and when I get in a meeting with my position coach, like, I don't know, man. Hey, Dad, I don't know. Did y'all feel that same thing I felt? Yeah, man, we felt it. Okay, well, we can't go there. So for all the stuff that I know Big Dog does and bringing people in there, you still have to have that connection with that guy who's coaching you. I think that's so under realized and under talked about is that relationship that all the coaches, but we're gonna talk about Stu now, that Stu has with those guys. You can see some things. I never was the Georgia game where he hit somebody late? It was the Georgia game, right? Deion was like, all right, dude, I'm off. I'll give you 2 examples. All right, man, shit. I know he's gonna get at me, so I might as well just start walking to the sideline now. If you go look back at that play and look at, I'm only going by the broadcast because look at the broadcast, he's right next to him. But it wasn't no like, oh, I'm in the game, bring your ass here, and he jogs out. No. Deion, after he hit me, like, all right, I'm out. He walked to the sideline. When we had a DB do some stupid shit, and he walked back to the huddle. Seems small, but it's huge in my book. All right. So I'm just saying that even though, here's the other thing. Then I'm gonna go to the other thing because I still put that pin in that quarterback situation. Here's the other thing. Is that even when you are recruited in the recruiting process, how many times you seen high school players say I've talked to the position coach? So even though Big Dog is a lead recruiter, even though Big Dog is the one that is doing the heavy lifting, so to speak, as some people would say, and that's why he's probably paid $1 million. He's a damn recruiting coordinator and making over $1 million. All right, but it still comes down to that kid feeling comfortable with that coach, even if Scott Woodward is the lead recruit for Max Harrison. Max Harrison still has to talk to Coach Collins. Even though Coach Collins isn't, by the media standpoint, the recruiter of him, he still is in the recruiting process because he's got to have dialogue with the player. So I understand that Big Dog's name is associated with X player, but it's more than just him, y'all. Deion left off the, see, y'all, I don't think it was criminal. And here's the reason why. And y'all have, if you watch Watchman Style, you're stylistic, you understand why I would say this, because Deion wasn't dominant 100% of the time. Deion had flashes in every game, but he wasn't dominant. You look at some of these other players, they are a little more dominant. They are a little more going after it every play. And that's the difference to me. We're talking about the coaches now. The coaches are the ones that watch film. And the thing about it, I want people to understand is there's only 8 spots. There's 8 spots. And we play a 3-4. So Deion is neither an interior defender or a defensive end. He's not a 1 or 3 technique, he's a 4. It puts you in a weird spot. But only 8 in conference. How many teams in conference? How many teams in the conference? Right? So now you got to whittle that down to 8. He's the best player on all defense, but there's a lot of other players that are the best player on their defense too. So I don't think it was criminal. If you watch a lot of football, there were some dudes. I've told people for years the relationship is number one recruiting piece. Not exactly, man. You got to have a relationship with that position coach. I wish we had moved Mark Stoops to a different role and brought in. Kyrie, I'm not mad at that. I see where you're going. Because I think, isn't Mike Stoops like his brother, a DB coach, really? But I'm gonna say this is, see, now we're gonna go. HR is gonna come at me, but we're gonna probably go over a little bit. This is what I want to say about that, Kabi, and it goes to coach, right? when you see one guy in that position room play well, you kind of forget about it. When you see another guy in the position room play poorly, you're like, oh, it's the coach. I'm not saying coaching is not important, but I want to. So Derrick Jackson had a really good year, in my opinion, a solid year. Trevor Wallace took a step back as the year progressed. He was great early. Then he started progressing to the wrong way. So now, is that Mike Stoops' fault? Because there's two guys. You got Rayner came in and played well in his time. D-Jack was solid all year. Did the linebackers play poorly because of the coaching, or did the linebackers play poorly because one guy might have been thinking too much? But you got two guys who didn't have a bad year. It's the same thing when you go to safety position. You had the same safety coach last year. We're like, woo, this safety position is going to be hot. Right? This safety position is going to be hot because of the year before. Lovett being a freshman playing well, Childress coming off a transfer, getting in playing well after Geiger got hurt. Now we like, oh, we got three of them. This was the same coach that coached them the year before. So what happened this year? Is it on coaching? Is it players? Same thing with corner. Harrison's balling out. And to me, Drew Phillips had a good year. I understand he got exposed sometime, but the ball went. But Maxwell had a good year. Then he did. I'm gonna say Drew Phillips had a good year too. But then you have JQ and Jordan Robinson not have. Is that on the coach? Okay, JD, I'll give you that if he wasn't hell. But as Coach Rick Smith used to say to me, not say to me, say to his position group room, holding is a personal problem. Don't let them fucking hold you. Travis said facts. Outside linebackers. No, outside linebacker is Coach White's position, Cobby. Mike coach inside linebackers. You have been running a little bit of tight ends. I hope not. Inside linebackers is not White, Cobby. Inside linebackers, Mike. I want y'all to understand that. I want you to understand that. I'm going to bring up this play, and then I'll go back to that quarterback thing. I'll put a pin in. I played on a team. I shit you not. And the great thing about it, next time I'm going to talk that A-Dot, when Anwar comes back on here, we're going to talk about this play. All right. I got hurt, I think in the Cincinnati game the week before. Had a thumb issue. Had in a soft cast. We had a rule that if you were not in full participation, which means full pass, full go on Wednesday, you couldn't start on Saturday. So I wasn't, so I couldn't start. So throughout the week, I shit you not, we had to run this play at least, I'm gonna give it 25 times. Florida had a situation. I'm just gonna give it to you. They had a wide receiver close, a reduced split into the boundary, and they motioned Fred Taylor out. So they had, I think they had trips over here, single back on the other. So my hands are. They had trips over here, one receiver over here, okay, and a back in the backfield, which was fucking Fred Taylor, who's a dude. So that right here. So then the running back Fred Taylor, a motion, great empty set, and they ran the play all week. We said, because what we normally do is normally the corner will bump out to the widest guy. But this week, Jock Green was the guy who was the single receiver they were trying to isolate. We said, we are not going to bump. Corners, tell the linebacker, you got to go out with the running back. We ran it to perfection all week. That's coaching, y'all. That's coaching. Coaching prepares you for the week. Putting a game plan, tells you what to do, and told us why. I think the reason is obviously why. Told us why. We don't want Jock Green on the linebacker. That's a mismatch. So we're going to keep you here this week, and the linebacker is going to move out. Although, here was the thing, although we know it's going to hurt us, potentially for any kind of quarterback run, but the quarterback back then wasn't going to run. I think it was Danny Warhol still. All right? So he wasn't run. So we're going to sacrifice. We're going to take a linebacker out the box, which we normally don't do. We're going to take him out the box and put him in space. That was explained in detail in the DB room. Now, I don't know about linebacker room. In the DB room, it's explained in detail. We're not bumping. You hear me? We're not fucking bumping. We went through this all fucking week. That's coaching. We get in the game with live ammunition. They run, they come out in the formation, and we barking from the sideline. Now, obviously, our defense couldn't really hear us because I think it was away from our sideline. But we're barking. Watch the motion. Watch the motion. Fred Taylor goes out of motion. Guess what we do? The corner goes with Fred Taylor, and Anwar Stewart is left on Jock Green. Jock Green did a slant, 6 points. Now, fans would say, why in the fuck would we put a damn linebacker on Jacquez Green? That is stupid ass coaching, right? That's what y'all would say. But the coach said, you stay there, linebacker go out there, because that's smart coaching. Some of the times, y'all, it's on the damn players. All right. Last thing, then I'm going to show. JD asked me for some film on Brock. I'll do that in a minute. So last thing. Going backwards. So the quarterback position. I know y'all been, like I said, it's the why don't we develop? But then a bright, shiny toy shows up. We got to go get him. It's like, I don't know if you've seen the gift with the kid with the candy, with the cookies, and he's doing this. Same thing. Like, which one is it, y'all? You can't have it both ways. But we are in a very fortunate situation where if Liam stays here, because Liam is the only reason why we're getting these quarterbacks. If Liam stays here, we have a chance to develop at least one of these two quarterbacks that's coming up. You got Brock for 2 years. So when Brock leaves, so this will be Cutter Boley's freshman year. He should get redshirted if everything works right. When Brock's last year, Cutter would be a redshirt freshman, which then would be Stone Saunders' freshman year. So then Stone Saunders is redshirt. When Brock leaves, Cutter Boley is a redshirt sophomore. Stone is a redshirt freshman. Now, those two guys going to have to battle it out, right? They're going to battle out. Probably one guy's going to probably leave. But after 2025, now you get a 2026 quarterback in. And that 2026 quarterback will be a redshirt freshman when either it depends on which ones. Let's say Cutter is a quarterback. So then he'll be a redshirt freshman. Cutter is either junior or senior. Now you create a cycle of developing quarterbacks. But it has to start somewhere. And the thing about it, we haven't had the fortune of starting it somewhere. Because Drew Barker got hurt. Then that forced us to go with Steven Johnson, which was a great thing. So then Drew Barker was hurt, then that was it. So then Steven Johnson had 2 years. We didn't have that development time. Drew Barker would have been our development quarterback to bring in another one in Drew's junior year. Now we started the development side. But then we was playing catch up. Then we went to Terry Wilson. But we had some guys on the team that was supposed to be Danny Clark and what's his name is supposed to be the next one, but they were not. And that's why we get into that cycle. But now we have a chance to ease that cycle up and start developing quarterbacks because we got Liam Cohen, who's going to go get a star quarterback who is obviously able to go in family rooms and sell himself. So I think right now, with that development thing, that we have a chance to start developing a quarterback. Because I promise you, if you can get a quarterback for 3 years, it's when your program, I think, because by that third year, he ain't thinking. He knows the system. Cobby says, how many cornerbacks do we need from the portal? We definitely need one. What made me happy towards the end of the season is when I saw Dunn make plays against Louisville as a slot nickelback. Which then what is he good at? He's at corner or he's at safety. But when he's able to play slot, and when you're able to play nickel, that doesn't force one of your corners in to have to play nickel. So that means you could potentially have only 2 corners. I've heard that Addison is the next guy up, which is going to hopefully push JQ. Because I really think JQ has something. He's got the physical attributes. Now we gotta get above the shoulder stuff going. I think with him and Addison and Max locking down the one side and Dunn being that nickelback, I think we can be a good secondary. I want y'all to understand that corner wasn't really the problem. I mean, I guess corner was a problem when Andrew had to come inside and we got I don't think JQ was ready this year. We forced him out there. I guess that did play a little bit of fact, but I'm gonna tell y'all the safeties is where the problem was. And those guys are coming back. They need to tighten their ass up. That's really what it boils down to. They need to tighten their ass up. And I hopefully they have learned from their mistakes and we will get back to them playing more consistent and better. All right, y'all. We're going to get into this film because HR is knocking on my door talking about, well, not on my door. They telling me hurry the fuck up. So I'm going to try to hurry up, y'all. So Brock Vandagriff. I'm going to tell y'all something. It harkens back a little bit to Will Levis. Not the whole year. I don't think I've said this many times. I don't think y'all remember that Will Levis didn't run that much at the beginning of the season. He really started running more until probably the LSU game, which is about week 6. But this is what I think Brock can give us. And I'm going to play these. There's clips. I'm going to play these and we'll talk about it. All right. Here's the advantage. Here's the advantage of having a quarterback that can pull it. Watch Noah. He's going to have to, he can't go just all the way across the field. See how he had to, I'm going to play a fast motion. See how he had to take that little hitch step? Oh, well, this is the one where he pulls it. Well, take that back. You know what? I got another play, y'all. Let me combine the two. Let me do this. Now y'all getting some behind the curtains action. See if I can get this bigger. See on my old software, I can get this bigger. Let me see if I can go full screen. See if that'll work. Yeah, it's still small. All right. Watch this play. Watch Devin and watch Brock. Watch this. All right. Watch Noah again. He crashed, right? The same way how this guy for Louisville crashed, right? See how he runs down Ray Davis? See how Noah runs down their running back? The difference is if you're reading it, you can pull it. Right? Ray Davis gets stopped. He gets tackled, but the quarterback has the ball. If you're really reading it, what happens is that defensive end, if he crashes like that, he had this, Brock had that. The difference is we were playing zone and they were playing man. They have everybody here. We got eyes on quarterback. We can make a play where it won't be a touchdown. But on this side, there's nobody left. So with Brock being able to be an athlete, I don't think he's as athletic as Will Levis, but that is something that is going to be back in play again. That ability is going to be back in play again. And I think that is huge for this offense, for this team, is that ability to run the ball. This is the first play. This is another thing that's going to help. When you can truly run RPO, because now someone's got to be responsible for the quarterback, and you're giving that fake. This is something I hope we see a little more of this year. And the kid he can throw it, man. He can throw it. Now, this is, to me, Will Levis' issue. He's going to have to layer this ball. That's not a window. He threw this a little bit, to me, too hard. But he's on rhythm. 1, 2, 3, throw. He's on rhythm. He's probably reading him. If he doesn't hit here on the double out, I'm throwing to the tight end. He's on rhythm, on time, just maybe a little hard, maybe a little too hard. Now this is a dot, y'all. This is a dot. That's 5. That's 10. That's 15. That's 20. That's 25, almost a 30-yard linear throw on a dot over. He had to layer that over a linebacker. That is a quality throw. I don't know why this tight end did this. He could be still running. I don't know why that's obviously that's not Brock Bowers as a backup, but why he does that. So Brock's got something. Let me see if this the one. Disability again, y'all. Disability. Now, as a quarterback, as a guy who played, I probably want to throw that there to get my completions up. That's an easy 1-for-1, brother. Easy 1-for-1 for about 10 yards. But when playing smart, he's also a blocker. Now I can run, and I may be able to get more because I got a lead blocker out in front. This is the athleticism that I think is big that we lost a little bit this year. And not only this year, we lost it last year too, because Will had the toe issue. You got a big, I think he's like 6'3". All right. This is, to me, what I like. Whoa. Let me see somebody. Brock is 0.1 and a is he really? So what is Brock running, Johnny? What Brock running 4.5? So if Vandagriff's running 4.6, that's pretty good. You're right, JD. He stepped into it. He is a natural athlete. I don't know if you ever seen guys who like really trying to run. He's not forcing. As I tell my kids, dude, God gave you only X amount of speed. There's no reason to kind of force it out. Let it come naturally because Your body can only run X fast. I can't make you run. I can't make you be Usain Bolt. God didn't make you to be that. God made you to be X. I gotta help you go to your X, not anybody else's X. So there's no reason to try to like hear and see all of it. There's no reason. Just relax and run naturally as fast as you can. We'll work on other things later, but don't try and force it. And he's not trying to force it. He seems like a pretty natural runner. All right. This is the last one. This to me is what I like to see. Watch, he goes from Gresham. He's looking there, right? You can see he's looking that way. I don't know if he's looking at this slot receiver or somebody outside of him. I'm not sure if he's looking here or there's someone out, but he's looking to his left, right? So he looks there. Oop, my video. He looks there, right? Not there. He looks in the middle. So now he's looking for a tight end or receiver on one of these end cutting routes. All right. He looks there. He doesn't like it. It's congested. We play good zone there. Boom. Watch this. He's looking down the hash. It's easy to see. He's looking down the hash. 12 is pointing right there too. His head is pointing there too. And he doesn't like, he immediately looks and throws. This is a little thing, y'all. He knows there's no one out here because he had assessed the situation right here. There can't be anybody out there. He looks here, doesn't like it, too much trash. He's like, safety valve, get it out there. That is humongous. That's humongous. That's a touchdown, y'all. That is humongous. That is what you want as an offensive coordinator. You want that. Boom. Safety valve for a touchdown. All right, y'all. That's it on that. Now, answer a couple questions. We'll get up out of here because HR said we have ran too far over and they definitely not going to pay me now. Wow, he said 4.62. Okay. He got some wheels. Now can he stay healthy? All right, y'all. That's all I got. Like, comment, subscribe, share, do all those things that A-Dot tells y'all week to week. And hopefully we'll get A-Dot back next week. And y'all have a good rest of your week. And I appreciate that, Ann. Appreciate that, JD. We'll see y'all next week. Holla back.